Hello, my name is Zach Rissy, Product Specialist with New Leader Manufacturing. And in this video, I am going to discuss how to lube the chain on your NL5000 G5, system bleed, and bin flush. Now, in order to get to those functions, on the right-hand side of the screen here, you're going to hit the toolbox, and that takes us into our tools page. Within our tools page, you'll see chain oiler, system bleed, and bin flush. These are the three that I'm going to focus on in this video. To lube your chain, which again, we recommend doing this at the end of every day's use, you simply go into chain oiler, and with your hydraulics turned on, so make sure your PTO is engaged, you're going to simply come in here and hit play. Now, one thing to note is that this does shut your spinner circuit off. This is not a function that you do during the day while you're spreading. It will shut your spinners off. Okay, it's just running your conveyor and your 12-volt diaphragm pump to run your oiler. It knows what one full revolution is. It knows when to stop. It will automatically stop, and it will warn you or give you a note basically saying that the lube routine is complete when it's done. So again, at the end of every day, we recommend doing that. It's as simple as coming in here, hitting play, and then again, it will stop when it's done. Okay, now directly below the chain oiler is the system bleed. The reason I want to point out the system bleed is anytime you do any service work or you break any hydraulic circuit and you run the risk of potentially introducing air into the system, we have a way to push that air out of our cylinders, and it's the system bleed. You simply come into system bleed, you hit play, and it's going to go through every cylinder on the box. It's going to go through the fore aft, left, right on the spinner assembly, and then both feed gate cylinders, and we're going to just push air out of those circuits back to tank. Depending on how many bins you have, it can take up to about 5 minutes to get through the entire bleed routine. But again, highly recommend that after you do any service work with any hydraulics on your G5. Also, I do recommend doing this if it's cold. So if you're doing spreading, late fall, early spring, and you've got those really cold, frosty mornings and you want to kind of heat up your system rather quickly, we do push our system over relief while we are doing a system bleed. So it is a very, very quick way to get your oil temperature up to operating temperature rather quickly. So that would be just another way to use the system bleed. Okay. Lastly here, bin flush. Bin flush, we have a couple different uses for bin flush. One is whenever you're doing a calibration on the conveyor and you're doing a static catch test, you need to charge bin 1. So you need to get that product, all the way under the multiplier, all the way back to the machine before you start your catch test. And this is a good way to do that, to use the bin flush utility. The bin flush, again, very similar to lubing the chain, is going to shut your spinner circuit off. So this is only going to run the conveyor. I have a twin bin system set up, so you can see bin 1, bin 2. If I want to run just bin 1 conveyor, I simply activate it, turn my PTO on, and hit play. It's going to run. When you want it to stop, you hit stop. If you don't have a tarp, for whatever reason, you have a full load, you've got rain coming, you need to offload rather quickly, this would be another function that you could use that for. Activate that bin, hit play, and just run that product out and do a skid loader bucket, your end loader, or whatever you have. If you want to increase or decrease the conveyor speed, you can go into bin rate settings here and tell it how fast you want it to run. So for bin 1, we can run, anywhere from, say 10 conveyor RPMs all the way up to 50 conveyor RPMs. And for bin 2, down, in that 10 conveyor RPM range all the way up to 60 conveyor RPMs. So again, for you, I don't, if you're charging a bin, you're probably going to want to be a lot slower. If you're trying to empty a bin out at the end of a day, again, if you got a storm coming or something like that. you're going to want to go to that 50 or 60 conveyor RPMs and let her fly. Okay, and that is our tools page going over the chain oiler, the system bleed, and the bin flush.